Good morning. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Good morning.
Oh, that's a nice, robust greeting. Thank you. Hello, everyone in YouTube land. Please subscribe and like the video. I've got to say that. We've doubled our subscribers since I started saying it. And hello, Father. Father watches all the videos. He's very supportive. What I wanted to talk with you guys today about is, who do I want to be today? We've been talking the last couple weeks about the 3 marks of existence. Does anyone recall what one of the marks is?
Impermanence.
Ryan. Very good. Impermanence. What's another one?
No self.
No self. Very good.
Dukkha.
And dukkha, which means what?
Suffering.
Suffering or?
Dissatisfaction.
Dissatisfaction. Very good. Very good. So they are in order: dukkha, impermanence, and no self. And one of the reasons why no self is a thing is impermanence. Right? Because we are not unchanging. We're always changing. We talked about this last week. As a matter of fact, it is inevitable that you're going to change, but you can, to some extent, influence the manner in which you change. For example, someone was telling me this morning they wanted to cultivate more loving kindness. That's a good way to change. Some people, we probably have noticed, become more bitter and closed as they age. Has anyone ever known someone like that? What happens is, with the passage of time, what we're investing in multiplies. It's just like going to the bank. If you go to the bank and you keep putting money in, what's going to happen with the money? It grows. So if you are practicing loving kindness every day, what's going to happen?
Going to grow.
That's right. These are not trick questions. I'm not smart enough to give you guys trick questions. These are easy, dumb questions. Everyone should answer in unison, don't you think? These are easy questions. So if I focus on my bitterness and my resentment and hate, what is going to happen? All together now. That's right. It will happen more. And there are people who do that. So to some extent, we get to choose which aspects of ourselves we want to emphasize and focus on. I write a gratitude list every morning of 10 things I'm grateful for. If I were to write 10 things I'm resentful and bitter about, probably it wouldn't put me in as good a mood. But it is a skill that I've had to develop. And I've got a number of friends who do it as well, and we share our list with each other, and it's a great way to start your day. I highly recommend it. As a result, I have become a more what kind of person? That's right. I've become more grateful. I am not inherently a grateful person. And guess what? Neither are any of you. You know why? Well, it's just simple evolution if you think about it. So the things that we're mostly thinking about in this room today are, does she like me? Will I get the job? Where's my hat? When do I graduate? When will I become a Zen master? Right? These are the kind of thoughts on our minds. Now, maybe some of us are thinking, when will this grief be over? When will I stop craving that thing that's bad for me or that person that's bad for me? So I'm not making light of what's on our minds at all. However, it appears to me that everyone in this room has clothes on. So we're not trying to find clothes. We're in this nice structure that is not only safe and quiet and warm, but is beautiful. Last night when it was storming, how many of you noticed it was storming last night? Everybody noticed. How many of you were thinking about how you're going to survive the storm? Right. Why is that? It's because we all have shelter, right? But here's the thing, we're all the products, depending on your beliefs, we're all the products of either an intelligent design or evolution. But either way, our brains are hardwired to seek danger and problems so that we can eliminate them, so that we can survive. All of this stuff that's going on around us is pretty new. This notion that we're probably going to survive today. Like the odds are pretty good we're all going to survive today. And again, I'm not making light of, I've had times with depression where I didn't want to be alive. I've had times with substance abuse where I put myself in dangerous situations. So I'm not saying it's a given. But probably, unless we take matters into our own hands, we're all going to survive today. Probably. Probably a tiger is not going to jump out and eat you while you're walking across the street. Probably. Probably you're not going to starve to death today. Has everyone had food in the last 24 hours? So, I mean, it would take several days to starve to death if you've eaten in the last 24 hours. So probably none of us are going to starve to death today. I'm not being morbid with that. I'm pointing out that we live in this incredibly abundant time. And yes, poverty is still an issue. And yes, war is still an issue. But the odds of dying from hunger or war worldwide are lower than they have ever been in the history of humanity. It's confusing because we're also more aware of what's going on around the world than we've ever been. So ergo, our anxiety and our fear are higher proportionate to that because we know more of what's going on. But your odds of living to a ripe old age are higher than they've ever been. The problem with that is that your brain doesn't know that. Your brain is hardwired to look for threats so that you don't get eaten by a tiger. Back in the hunter-gatherer days, when it took us all day to simply get enough food to make it through the day, that was our prime concern. And if you didn't be concerned about that, you would not survive. So we are not hardwired to look for, I feel so serene and peaceful, and I'm so grateful today. I'm so grateful that Brooke is here to help me with my schedule and get me where I need to be, right? We're not wired to think that way. We're wired to think, why is Brooke all up in my business? Right? And you probably receive some of that sometimes. That's just how it is. So if you want to have loving kindness for yourself and others, you have to start with the fact that we're living in this very strange reality where things are going way better than we realize, and then our brains are hardwired to perceive. So if we want to be more grateful, we have to actively cultivate that. It's like going to the gym. If you want to get really swole, do you guys still use that word? What would you say now about getting really, really strong? God bless you. You wouldn't say swole? What would you say? Ripped?
Fucking
Yoked? Yes, yoked. So if you want to get yoked and you're not presently yoked, you have to work at it, right? If you're not grateful or compassionate or loving and you want to become that way, the great news is you can. The bad news is it takes consistent, concerted effort over time. So who do you want to be? What kind of mindset do you want to be in? And what kind of reminders can you put up to help you with that? Those of you who've heard a number of my talks, either on the YouTube channel or in person, might note that I am not dressed the way I normally would be to give a talk. What's different?
You're in business attire.
I'm in business
Or just
attire.
regular clothes.
Yes,
You got a haircut.
I did get a haircut. I got them all cut, actually. There's no additional fee for the dad jokes. It's included. Yes. Looking a bit more dapper than usual, right? And most of you guys don't see me outside of the context of teaching. So most of you probably have no idea what I look like when I'm not. Now, you ran into me on the weekend the other day after I had played pickleball at the coffee shop. And what did I have on then?
You had some like old band t-shirt on and a baseball cap and like probably a pair of gym shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And you were sweating.
You forgot about my very colorful court shoes.
Oh.
Best part. Right, so if you're on a Saturday and you're playing pickleball, it's appropriate to wear an old band shirt and a hat and gym shorts and sneakers, right? If you're teaching Zen, it's appropriate to wear either your robes, if you're a Dain like I am, or your samoe, which looks kind of like a karate gi, and your rakusu, which is the bib-looking thing that is representative of your vows. But I'm not dressed that way today. Anyone want to wager a guess as to why that is?
You're trading stocks later.
Business to attend.
Trading stocks all day, every day. I have business to attend to, yes. So there's two things. Immediately prior to being here, I went over to greet the families that are at Parent Workshop. And whence I was the executive director of Red Mountain many moons ago, I used to always dress a little snazzier when the parents were here, out of respect for them, of the effort that they've made to come here, and also the trust that they were showing in having their loved ones here. Also, I'm going to the bank later to open a new bank account for our new business. And I don't have to dress this way to go to the bank. I could dress like I was playing pickleball. As a matter of fact, my dear departed father-in-law, who lived in Sedona for a long time, used to gleefully report about doing business things in the rattiest clothes he owned. I think it's because he had to dress like this for so many years that he just loved that he had won at life and could just do whatever he wanted, right? But I prefer, when I'm doing business, to dress the part. Things tend to go more smoothly. You tend to be taken a little more seriously. But when I'm home later and not working, I will be dressed down, kind of like how I was when you saw me the other day. So it just all depends. But would you guys find it strange if I ever showed up to teach not dressed like this or not in my monk outfit? If I was dressed like that? Would it be strange? A little, right? No? It wouldn't be strange?
Yeah.
Yes.
Be a little strange. I can tell you that when I put on my robes and my rakusu, I instantly sink into a mindset of like, this is what we're doing now. You relate to that?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like under the same umbrella as like look good, feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you are doing, I don't know, when you're like doing something and you feel good within that something, and like fashion's a really good way to like express that.
That's right.
It just makes it like sink in. I don't know.
That's correct. This has been studied and proven. And today I'm wearing a blazer. I woke up feeling good today, but I'm wearing a blazer because it's appropriate. But there are days I wear a blazer when I don't have any reason to, just to get myself out of a funk. There's times I'm sitting at home and I'll put on my rakusu because it helps me deepen my meditation practice, because it reminds me of my vows. You all probably have articles of clothing that remind you of a particular concert or evening or friend or whatever. Very comforting. Are you guys allowed to wear your pajamas on the Zendo?
No.
You're not?
Really? Well, I don't know. I don't wear feet. I don't know.
This has been an ongoing question at Red Mountain for 11 years. And for many years, I was adamant that people not wear their pajamas in here, nor to this building. Because my thought was we need to create an uplifted environment. But then we had a spate of people who really struggled getting out of bed in the morning, just with depression, anxiety, whatever. And I remember, I'll never forget talking to one of them about, hey, what is keeping you from coming over and participating today? She said, you're going to make me put put on non-sleeping clothes. And I kind of had an epiphany, and I was like, well, I'd much rather you be there in your pajamas than be here in your pajamas. If that's the obstacle, let's just get you over there. So there's a little bit of a paradox there too, where sometimes we just have to get out of bed and greet the world, and if we need to wear our gym shorts, then so be it. But I'm bringing this up to kind of make the point of, if you want to shift your mood or shift your attitude, you can put on different clothes, take a shower, comb your hair, make your bed. All these things that you're encouraged to do from the time we're really little actually do help us to get into that mindset. It's a terrible question to ask, but where's Ryan? Is he sitting behind the pillar?
Which Ryan?
The Ryan that was here before you today. Yeah. Okay.
Why is that a terrible question?
Well, because there's 4 Ryans. Who is the Ryan that I saw first for Dokusan today here?
He's just went to feedback.
Oh, he just went to feedback. Okay.
No.
Wait,
no,
what?
He's
He's
right
right
there.
there.
He's right there. Hello. All right. So when I got here, you were waiting outside. Did you know when I was going to be here? You didn't know? Did you see the note on the door? You saw the note on the door? Do you remember what it said?
It might have started at
9:10. That's right. And I got here at 9:10, right? Okay. So I always want to be careful with this kind of thing, because I'm not saying that I'm the greatest at all. I have struggled terribly with being late in my life. I have really severe ADHD, and part of it is what's called time blindness, where I don't really understand time at all. So if I'm ever on time or early, it's like a big accomplishment. But I knew, because I was asked to go talk to the parents this morning, that I can't both speak to the parents at 9 and be here at 9. Like, even I know that, right? So I asked for Taylor to put that note up, so if any of you showed up and I wasn't here, you wouldn't wander off thinking I wasn't coming, right? That's part of being stable and reliable, which, raise your hand if you consider yourself to be stable and reliable. I see a few people going like this. Okay, fair. Some of you I've known a long time, and I wouldn't have described you that way when I met you, but I would describe you that way now. I'm not looking at anyone in particular. One of my main goals in life is to be stable and reliable, because I wasn't for so long. And I always had reasons. Oh, it's my ADHD. Oh, it's my trauma. Oh, it's someone else's fault. It's this, it's that. But eventually I just got tired of that, because someone said to me, you know, Josh, the world judges you on your behavior, not your intentions. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of heavy. Because my intentions were always good. I've always been a nice person. I've always wanted good for others. I never meant to hurt anyone. But if you want to be more stable and more reliable, then you have to start setting alarms. You have to start admitting, I'm bad at time. What started me getting on time was saying to people, okay, we're going to meet at 9. Just so you know, I really struggle with being on time. I'm going to really try to be there at 9. If I'm late, please know it's not you, it's me, and I'll be there as soon as I can. And just doing that started me being more mindful about it. If you want to not be late, you have to start with what? What's that?
Accountability?
Well, you have to start with the fact that, yeah, be accountable
Like,
to the
you
fact.
have to, like, admit that you.
Correct. That's right. We have a saying in Zen, not knowing is most intimate. Not knowing is considered a good state of mind when you're a Zen student. In our culture, most of the time, not knowing is not an acceptable answer. But if I don't know how to get better at being on time, then that makes me teachable. If I don't know how to be a better friend, then I can say to my friend, I don't know how to be there for you right now. What do you need? Think about this for a second. I want everyone just to close your eyes for a second. Just take a breath. And just imagine that something really upsetting has just happened, doesn't matter what. And imagine that a friend that knows what happened doesn't call, doesn't reach out, doesn't come over, and just sit. How does that feel? And then imagine that the friend comes over and just somehow magically, inherently knows what to do to make you feel better, and they just do those things. How does that feel? And then finally, imagine that they come over and they say, I heard about what happened and I don't know what to say or what to do, but I just wanted to be here for you. How does that feel? All right, now everyone open your eyes. So how does the first one feel where they don't show up at all? You know they know what happened. They don't show up at all. Shout it out. How does that feel? Feels bad. Feels poopy. Did it feel good to anyone? Isn't it interesting when I drag you guys through these exercises, how universal our experience is as humans? Probably 30 people in this room. Nobody found that pleasant, that something tough goes on and your friend ignores you. Isn't that interesting? Like the details are different for each of us, but the basic human experience is we want to belong, we want to feel connected, we want to feel seen, loved, right? All right, the second one, when your friend just shows up and magically knows what to do, that feels... It feels good. One at a time, please. Calm down. Can't hear you when you're all shouting at me. It feels how?
Good.
Yeah, it feels good. I'm getting too hot in my very snappy blazer. What about when they show up and they're not sure what to do, but they just say, I just wanted to be here for you?
Great.
It feels good. Does it feel as good as the second one?
I don't know. I feel like it's a different type of better.
Different type of good? Some ways it feels better? Who said better? Better. How come?
It feels more realistic. And
Ah.
Also, I think things are easy when you know what to do, but like if someone doesn't know what they're doing and still does it, it shows up.
I love that. If someone doesn't know what to do, but they still show up, it's like they care more almost, right? That's great. When I was in graduate school, I was taking this class on grief, and grief still mystifies me even after decades as a clinician and a Zen student. But I heard this story I've never forgotten about. Someone passed away and their neighbor showed up with 3 grapefruit. And they said, I didn't know what to do, but I'm here and I brought grapefruit. Isn't that sweet? It's just sweet. Like, let's sit and eat some grapefruit. I don't know. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it exactly right. And trying to get it exactly right causes us to just not get it right at all. I was talking with one of my clients the other day who is a graduate of this program and making his way in the world. He's in college now, and he is in some hot water with his dad. There was some miscommunication / manipulation / lots of history, right? I don't know if you guys can imagine a situation like that with one of your parents, but... And he said, I just don't know how to make it better with him. And I said, well, do you want it to be better? And he said, yes. And I said, well, what if you were to start with, Dad, I want to make it better between us, but I don't know how. He said, you know, that might actually work. It's so simple. And as a father of a 19-year-old, I can tell you that when things are weird between my son and I, if one of us says, hey, I don't know how we got here, but I'm sorry and I'd like it to be better, it just gets better, like, immediately. Now, there's an important caveat there, which is that if you have an abusive parent or if the person you're trying to make peace with is a sociopath or a psychopath, maybe you should keep your distance rather than extend the olive branch. But if they're like a normal person who's like equipped with empathy and cares about you and like also doesn't want it to be rough between you guys, probably if you say, I don't know what to do, but this sucks and I'm sorry, and like, can we try to improve it? How would you feel if someone said that to you?
Just like gets rid of the tension.
Pardon me?
It gets rid of the tension and like, I don't know, and it nips like resentment building.
It nips the resentment building, yeah. As long as you're litigating and trying to be right, you know? Most of you are too young to remember the Cold War, but there was, if you know your history, there was a long period of time where the United States and the USSR were stockpiling more and more and more and more nuclear weapons. And it's like, how many nuclear weapons do you need? Like after a certain point, you have enough to blow up the whole planet. Like what, why? But it's like you keep escalating because the other guy's escalating. If no one's building nuclear weapons, then no one needs them. So there are people in my life whom I am not as close with as I would like to be. Friends, former friends, relatives. A couple Zen students over the years whom I got really close with, who just kind of like bailed. I still don't know why. You know, it's painful, it's upsetting. I'm not suggesting to you guys that like if you just study Zen and do Zen, everything will be perfect. But what I am suggesting is that things can be much less painful. You know, one of you was asking earlier, like, how do I be more mindful? And then, you know, my response was, well, I'm not trying to be more mindful. I'm trying to be more attuned. I'm trying to be more in touch with how I'm doing and how the other folks are doing. And just be appropriate to that. Which me do I want to be today? Do I want to be hard-ass, disagreeable me? Well, sometimes that's helpful. The other day, Maureen and I were playing pickleball, which is so fun. I mean, we're pretty obsessed with it. We've only been playing a few months, but we play almost every day. And we were playing pickleball, and this family, there's 4 courts, and this family was playing kitty corner to us, and they hit a ball into the empty court behind us. And this probably 9 or 10-year-old kid runs over to get it, and being a 9 or 10-year-old kid, he decides he's gonna vault over the net to get the ball rather than walk around the net. Well, he gets his foot caught in the net, and it got wrapped up in the net. And in less than a second, I analyzed, better for his dad to help him than me, but his dad's not gonna get there before this kid breaks his ankle or wrenches his knee or something, because it was like, he's like got one foot on the ground and his hand's on the ground and his leg is back here and he's trying to get it out. And it's not gonna go well. So I just ran over there and I said, stop moving. And he did. He said, I'm gonna get your leg out, just hold still. And I did. And then he was fine. But in that case, was I being mindful? Was I being appropriate? 6'3" man running up to a 10-year-old boy that he doesn't know and barking orders at him and touching his body? Is that okay?
When you say it like that, it sounds
Yeah, it depends on context.
Right? It sounds terrible in that context, but in that context, was that the right thing to do? Absolutely. Saved him a trip to the hospital. His dad wasn't going to get there in time, and this kid was too young and inexperienced at life to know that he should stop thrashing around and hold still until an adult could help him. And the family was very grateful, and he just ran off and played more pickleball. No big deal. But I cannot emphasize to you guys enough that what is appropriate depends on the situation. I want to be a helpful, reliable person. Well, usually that means coming, namaste, class. Today's Dharma talk from Dainin Roshi will be on this, okay? That's usually appropriate. If I came in here and I was like, everybody sit your ass down, we're gonna meditate, probably you guys wouldn't like it very much. It's not appropriate. One time I was having lunch outside with some colleagues at a conference at this beautiful place, Park City, Utah. Some of you might have been there. It was off season, so they weren't skiing. They were biking. People were biking down. And this guy goes off a little jump. His bike flies out from underneath him. He lands. The front tire bounces off his head. He had a helmet on. And he just sits there like very dazed. And everyone was laughing. And my impulse was to jump up from the table and run to him and make sure he was okay. But I'm ashamed to admit that I was embarrassed because we were in the middle of a conversation, everyone was laughing, and I thought I'd probably get laughed at if I did that. Well, the guy stood up, fell over, and very quickly someone near him went over to him, and then people started to gather around him, and then he ended up leaving in an ambulance. And he'd like broken something and he had a concussion. I mean, if a bicycle falls on your head, you're probably gonna get a concussion, right? Not my finest moment as a Zen monk, as a bodhisattva, as a person who's here to help, because my ego, my social mores prevented me from just jumping up and running over there. And I promised myself I would never do that again. So when I saw the kid yesterday, quick and easy to just run over there. It's not always appropriate to just be chill and mindful. Sometimes it's appropriate to go, the house is on fire, run! It's not always appropriate to be like, well, therapeutic support person, I'm just feeling kind of sad. Because if you're feeling crushingly depressed, you need to tell someone that. Not just try to be like, oh, I'll be fine, right? Sometimes you get a stomach ache and you don't go to the doctor and your appendix ruptures and you die. I'm not saying you need to run to the ER every time you get a stomach ache, but like, I knew someone that happened in their program. That's why to this day, if you guys are not feeling good, you have to go to the doctor because we're not doctors here. So sometimes it's appropriate to go, I'm not okay. Sometimes it's appropriate to go, that's not okay what you just did. Sometimes it's appropriate to be sharp. But the point is to know you're being sharp and why, to know you're being not dramatic, but emphatic and why. To know why you're dressed up. Not like a big shot. Better get out of my way, I'm wearing a blazer. But just out of respect to the process. What's appropriate? Sometimes it's appropriate to wear flannel. That's an inside joke. Like if you're a rock and roll musician like I am and you're in the studio, like I just recorded an album and I spent a week in pretty much the same flannel shirt. Not one that I would wear here. Sometimes it's fine. But other times it's not. Our son is working, he has a congressional internship this summer and he has to wear a suit and tie to work every day. If he shows up in a rock and roll outfit, he's probably gonna lose his job. You know? Apparently when you work in the Capitol, they want you to look good. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's just how it is. If you go out in the sun and you go on a big long hike and you're wearing a hat like that hat, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. If you're wearing a hat like that hat, it's going to help you. But if you're going skiing and you're wearing a hat like that hat, it's going to help you a lot. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just pointing out a hat. If you're wearing a hat like that hat when you go skiing, it's probably not going to keep you warm. And it's going to go flying off because of velocity. Right? So what's appropriate? Actually, when you go skiing, you should wear a helmet. Just for the record.
From experience, yes.
What?
Or when you're riding a bike, because the bike might end up on your head.
Also from experience, yes.
Do you have a bike land on your head?
No, but I've fallen off.
Ah. Very good. Well, Maureen would probably be dead if she hadn't been wearing a helmet. She had a ski crash a couple years ago and she got a concussion, but she's alive. Big old crack on her helmet. It's like, better that than your melon, right? So what is my point? Someone tell me, what is my point? I'm old and feeble. I lose track of my train of thought. What's my point? Just remember, there's no stupid answers, only stupid people. I'm just kidding. There's no wrong answer. Nobody? We're going to stay here until someone says it. Do you want to go or not?
It's not always appropriate to be just one way in this situation.
Would everyone agree with Ryan that the point of this whole talk is it's not always appropriate to be the same way in all different situations, and you want to be flexible to which you is appropriate in that situation? You all have a multitude of yous at your disposal, right? Would you all agree that that's the point that I've been struggling to make for 36 minutes?
Yes.
Do you all agree that that is a sensible, helpful concept to carry through your day? Then I have succeeded in my task. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Great. Okay, well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you all for being here and for joining me. And thank you all out there for joining me as well.